Guys, welcome back. Today we are going to the Evanston Crossroads location. Evanston is a city in Chicago, or if you're like me, you think it's part of Chicago because it does not feel like the suburbs. And honestly, I've really been having a good look at this Crossroads location, so I filled up 2 bags. We're gonna go shop, hope to find some stuff and buy stuff with the credit I get. Actually, right now I have $0 in trading credit. Usually I have a balance built up, but last time I found a bunch of good stuff while I was there, so I spent all my balance. So hopefully I can build my balance back up today and find some stuff to resell. Also, after the shopping part, I pre-filmed the items that I took to them, and so I need to ask for an itemized receipt, and I will read that to you guys so you can see what they are purchasing from me. All right, let's go shopping. We made it to Crossroads, and now it's time to wait for my turn for them to go through my stuff. Here are my bags. When I get there, I always like to check what's hanging up on the wall. They had that Karl Lagerfeld coat for almost $50, which really surprised me, so note to self, if I find Karl Lagerfeld, I will bring it to them instead of listing it. Here are some open edit shoes. Those are Nordstrom house brand. They aren't really worth reselling in my opinion. This is technically the designer boutique section, so I do like to go through this section first if I can. That looks like an old tag Gani to me. I like to check what they're pricing these boutique items at, because these are items that I would like to bring them if I'm not going to sell them myself. I'd never heard of this brand before, Brody Cashmere. I don't know if they bought it for the brand or cashmere. They do buy a lot of Vince, so actually I did buy some Vince to experiment with there. I did check comps on this Cezanne sweater for $27, and I found one sold for about $100, so this did end up coming home with me. Here is a pair of very old Doc Martens. I thought that was just interesting tag. I did not check comps on those. I did want to check comps on these Chloe boots. However, the style seemed a little bit dated and they were 5.5. So I kind of slipped my mind, and I don't totally regret not checking comps. I had heard someone on YouTube mention this Exquisite brand before. This piece was sold on Anthropology, and I found that sold comp for $32. So it was definitely not worth picking up for me at the buy sell trade price. Here is Hutch. This can be sold at Anthropology, and these are new with tag. However, Hutch doesn't move very well for me. This was my first time hearing of Nadam. I think they do cashmere and sweater and knits. I did not look up those either. And here is a naked cashmere piece, and I kind of wanted to check comps on these, but they were pretty pilled, so I would have had to put the time in. This was a collab with Reformation I'd never heard of before, and it was new with tags, but I did not check comps since it was a plain black button up, and they wanted like $55 for it, so I passed on that without checking comps. Here is Brunello Cucinelli, which is a very expensive brand. They had these priced at $66, but they were kind of a dated style, so I was thinking to myself, okay, if I ever find dated Brunello Cucinelli, maybe I'll bring it here. And this brand I'd never heard of before, June Otte, OTTE, and I decided to look it up since I'd never heard of it. They had it in the boutique section, and it was not really worth picking up because there were just not a lot sold. This was Hunter Bell. I have sold a piece of Hunter Bell. I got it buy sell trade for like $60-$70, but I didn't even check comps on that piece because they had it priced high, and it was a plain white blouse. Here's some old Roberto Cavalli. I kind of thought it was a cool piece. And this is Totem. I have never sold Totem before. It is an expensive designer brand, and I kind of wanted to check comps on it, but again, I forgot, and it's not the end of the world since it was priced high. At this point, they started going through my stuff, and of course, I tried to get some sneaky footage of them going through my items, but I feel like it's really hard not to be obvious that that's what you're doing, so it's never the best. Here is a Tory Burch sweater. I didn't check comps on that piece. This is a piece I did check comps on, Nayin, because I'd never heard of it, and it seemed like it could be good. And I think it'd be a good thrift pickup, but definitely not paying up. This is a Pomander Place dress. They had priced at $24. Unfortunately, as you can see with comps, it is not worth paying $24 for. So again, another good thrift pickup. If you're unfamiliar with Pomander Place, it is a Tucker Nuck brand that I do like to pick up to resell, and sometimes it's worth paying up for.
Here is a Free People Movement piece that I checked comps on, and another Free People Movement piece. This one I did want to bring home, but comps were only about $50 to $60. So when I realized I was not going to get as much credit from them as I was hoping, it wouldn't cover my whole buy, I did end up putting this piece back because it was not worth paying what they had it priced at without, you know, my credit to make it cheaper.
This was a graphic mother hoodie, and comps weren't great, and it also seemed to be a little more distressed than originally sold, so I did leave that piece behind. I sold them this airy sweater last time I was in there, so it was just funny to see it, but everything else I sold them seems to have been purchased. Here is another sneaky clip of her going through my stuff. I found this sweatshirt from the brand Daydreamer, and it was a Sublime graphic. I checked comps and could not find anything other than it is still $138 on the website, so I actually did grab that piece. And I knew I'd heard of this brand before, Mate, but I checked comps on it. It is a good brand to resell, but again, just wouldn't pay up for it, maybe like $5-6. And I'd heard someone talk about this brand on YouTube. It's a ski wear brand. Again, another good thrifting pickup. Okay, finished up in Crossroads. I still have 2 full bags because they only bought 8 items. I asked for my itemized receipt. They got a new system sometime over the summer, so I asked for my itemized receipt. The first time, it just never got sent to me. The second time, like, they used to print it out for you, now they email it. The second time, they emailed me one from months previous. And this time, she's like, oh yeah, it's not working, so I'll take down your email, which is what they said the first time when I never got it. So if I don't get anything emailed to me, that means I'll have to go through my footage and find which 8 items they took out of like 30 plus items probably. And she even like showed me the screen, and I wish I just took a picture of it. I asked her if I could, and she's like, oh no, it's gone. Like, the transactions process is like complete now. So now I know for next time that I'll just ask to take a picture of their screen. It's kind of frustrating. I got paid out like 78 something for my 8 items, which is good, but I am bummed again they only took 8 items because I spent all my trading credit on the 4 things I purchased today, and then I had to spend like $52 more. So I actually put 1 piece back, which I'm sure I told you guys about. So now I actually think I'm gonna pop over to Goodwill and just quickly see if there's anything in there. I don't love the Goodwill over here, but last time I found a few good pieces that I priced like one for over $100. So I'm gonna do that really quick and then head home and share with you guys the quick 4-item haul and tell you guys what they purchased from me. That quick thrifting trip turned into over 3 hours of thrifting. This is the most I've ever gotten from this Evanston location, Goodwill location. Let me know down below if you like shopping at this one. Usually when I stop in, I only find like 3 pieces, so that's why I figured this would be a quick stop in and run out. But then I started finding stuff, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have my birthday discount coupon, which normally I like to stack on Customer Appreciation Day. But I was finding so much stuff that I was like, okay, I'll use one of my 3 25% off coupons. So then I just shopped and I checked almost all sections. I got some pieces that I'm excited to share with you guys, but I'm gonna just do a separate Goodwill haul because my total came out to over $300. So that's its own video. I don't want to try and stick that in this video, so keep an eye out for that Goodwill haul. I am now on my way home. It is 4 o'clock and I got myself stuck in some beautiful rush hour traffic. It will take me over an hour to get home, unfortunately. I might have to film my little Crossroads haul clip and review of what they purchased tomorrow because time change has happened. I may lose my son. No, I know for sure. It's going to be like past 5 o'clock when I get home, so the sun will be gone. So the next clip you see will likely be from tomorrow. So it is Saturday, the next day, and Kendall, my sister, and I decided to go to the Lincoln Park Crossroads location, and we have never been to the Lincoln Park location before, but the employees had told us it is the biggest location of the 3 in Chicago, so it was cool to check it out, and I definitely did not even look at 2/3 of the store. Here was a cute Sundance piece that was half off, but it was a size extra small, so I passed, and then I went right over to their designer section. I found this Anaya
fine Bing piece, and I did actually end up bringing this home with me. I think I have it priced somewhere around $80 or $90, but here are some of the brands in their designer section. Here's a Love Moschino piece. I personally don't love selling like designer like this, so I passed on that, didn't even check comps. There was some Montclair and some Mage, and here is the woman going through my items. They ended up buying 12 items from me. This Moschino piece looked good, felt good. They had it priced at under $50, but I could not find that exact piece anywhere on the internet, so I put it back because I think if Crossroads had thought it was authentic, they would have priced it higher. I think they were unsure and I was unsure, so I left that behind because, again, I could not find that exact piece on the internet. There the woman is again going through my stuff. I got my sneaky footage. Here is a Love Shack fancy top. It was new at tags. I did check comps on this piece. However, it was just not worth the pickup, especially because they had it priced at $33. Here are some sweaters, some styles they're picking up. Lots of Madewell, lots of like no-name brand to me sweaters, and that is why I think they told me they are being more selective with brands. This is a pair of Johnny Was pants. They had dragon embroidery on the bottom. I could not find much on comps, so I did leave these ones behind, especially because I've had mixed luck with the brand. I've had some pieces sitting for a long time. This was a Free People C-piece shades dress. Kendall is ready to go, so I did my quick comps, found out that it was not worth paying almost $40. That's kind of what the resale value is on Poshmark, surprisingly. So I did leave that piece behind, and then we headed next door to get some hot pot at Happy Lamb Hot Pot. I haven't had hot pot since I lived in South Korea, so it was very good. I definitely recommend this franchise. They're across the country. Then Kendall dragged me to her cross-stitch store, and it took forever. So after that delay, we headed over to Village Discount Outlet, which is a thrift store chain in Chicago that I've actually never been to before, so brand new experience to me. It kind of felt like a Savers with multiple half-off colors, which I will say I did not come across a lot of, and I was trying to figure out their pricing, and so I think this was $9.95 for a Santa hat, and immediately I was turned off, but Kendall told me they can have some good prices. I thought that was cute, would be a good buy-sell trade piece if it felt higher quality. Then we came across this Burberry piece, and I was pretty excited because I only had it priced at $15 or $16. But then I realized it's the liner, wool liner for a trench coat. I'm sure there's still resale value in that piece, but I didn't want to deal with it, trying to find the size and then a buyer for a liner. Here is a Shein pair of girls' jeans. They had priced at like $16. Like, I just could not figure out their pricing, but these Gentle Soles were $6. So I did end up grabbing this artsy style Gentle Soles shoe. Here is a Clara Sun Wu top I considered for about $4, but there were some flaws to the stitching, so I did leave that piece behind. And then we went a mile down the road to the last Crossroads. So we hit all 3 Crossroads stores in Chicago this weekend. They only bought one piece from me at this location, but I was not totally surprised. And Kendall found some pieces for herself.
Okay, it is Sunday today. We hit all 3 Crossroads in 2 days. They all purchased something, so I'm gonna go in order and tell you what they purchased. And I did get my itemized receipts from 2 of the stores. The last one I didn't need an itemized receipt because I only purchased 1 item, and it's 1 item I knew they would purchase, but we'll get to that. So at the Evanston location, they purchased 8 items, and I will say I was disappointed in that. Usually when I go to Crossroads, they always purchase over like 20 items. I usually am getting close to $200 in in-store credit, if not over $200 of trade credit. So it was a little disappointing. They only took 8. But after going to all 3 locations, at the second one, I actually talked to one of the employees, and she said they're recently being more picky on brands they're bringing in. So I'm thinking like franchise-wide, at least the stores in Chicago maybe went through some sort of buy training recently, like a refresh, being more selective on inventory they're bringing in, and it seems like maybe they're being more brand focused. I asked them which brands they weren't bringing in, and she said, we've noticed too much Old Navy and really selective with Zara. I was like, I bring a lot of style-based like Y2K pieces. Are you still buying that? And she's like, oh, very like selective. It really depends on the piece. So It seems like maybe they're trying to be more like mid-tier brand focused right now, which is decent for sourcing, but bad for me selling to them because those are the brands I like to sell. But okay, that little spiel aside, this is what the Evanston location brought in. They brought in 8 items for a total of $159. That's what they priced everything at, giving me a trade of $79.50 or a cash value of $47.70, which, I mean, think if you're bringing them items from the bins, 8 things, what is that, like maybe $8? That is good cash if you're not even taking the trade. I'm going to tell you what they purchased from me, and I will put a clip on the screen of that item. So they purchased a Zara pink knit midi skirt. This was a new tags Zara item. I found this in the bins. I contemplated selling it, but I was pretty sure that they were going to purchase it, and I just would rather take the quick trade credit to purchase something better. So they priced that at $23, giving me $11.50 in trade credit. It's cool because now with this itemized receipt, I can see how they label everything. And they brought this in as a trend item. It is a vintage Victoria's Secret square. They called it VS black square lace. So it's this vintage Victoria's Secret sheer lace top. This was a bins pickup. Again, I could have sold this, but I think it probably would have sold for the amount they priced it at. They priced it at $19. I get 50% of that. So what is that, $9.50? Yeah. I wasn't super interested in selling that piece myself. Now this piece, I wasn't sure if they would take, and I'm very happy they did. They brought it in as a trend piece. The brand is Alice Doo red fuzzy cardigan. I picked this up at the bins. This, to my knowledge, has no resale value at like for Poshmark, unless you're maybe live selling on a trend basis, as Crossroads brought this in as a trend piece, but as like listing piece, I think this would be a hard sell for me at least. So I did pick this up with the intention to sell to them from the bins. They priced it at $19. So I got half of that. Again, I was happy with that. I was very happy they brought that piece because I was kind of like, I don't know if to buy this. Okay, then the next piece, I don't remember if I picked this up at a Goodwill for them or if I picked this up at the bins. It is a like Y2K DNKY gray cropped knit shirt. I figured they would buy this because of the Y2K style, and it had like logo branding on the piece. They priced this at $21. I got half. I'm gonna stop saying that. I got half of 21, which is $11.50. No, it's not. It's $10.50. Then they brought in this Madewell piece. This was a death pile piece of mine. I picked it up at Last Chance like maybe longer, at least 2 years ago. I'd sold one before in an extra large, and this one was an extra small. So I just like on a whim threw that in there. So I was glad to get that out of my did I say death pile? It's just like an item that won't sell for me. So been listed for years. They priced this Madewell piece at $21, giving me $10.50. When I took this item out of my spreadsheet after they purchased it, I checked and I paid a little over $3 for it. So I am still profiting on that piece in trading credit. I grabbed this piece at the bins. It is a marine layer van print graphic t-shirt. I'm not sure if somebody bought a marine layer t-shirt and screen printed on it or if this was a shirt they sold. And since I was unsure, I just threw it in my Crossroads bag to take to them, which they purchased for $21, or they purchased from me. They priced at $21. So again, I got $10.50. I'm really happy with that as a t-shirt. So that's what I mean. They passed on a lot. I think they passed on pretty much all my graphic tees except that one that had the marine layer brand behind it. I was pretty sure they would purchase this piece, and they did, which makes me happy. They brought it in as a trend piece. It is a Y2K, like 90s dress barn, black velvet mesh long sleeve shirt, and they priced this at $21. Again, giving me $10.50. That was from the bins. The last piece they brought in also came from the bins, and I grabbed this, and I think I could have sold it myself, but it probably would have only sold for $15. So I took it to them. They brought it in as a trend. The brand is Belle Pioquet. I don't know. Just retro style blouse. They only priced this piece at $14, giving me $7. again, that's fine because it came from the bins and I didn't have to put the work into listing it. So again, my total trade value from them was $79.50, and I used all that credit to purchase items, which you will see in the haul. Okay, so now we will move on to the second store. So my sister and I on yesterday, we went to the Lincoln Park Crossroads store, which I had never been to before. One of the employees at the other stores had told me that it's the biggest Crossroads, and so they buy in the most items. So I was excited to go there. I had the most luck selling there. They brought 12 items in, which again, I'm used to them buying like at least 20, but I was happy they brought 12. And I will say I did take them all the same items, except I also replenished my bags. I just topped them off to make sure, you know, I'm getting the most items out of my house. So the total amount, the 12 items they purchased from me, they priced at $245. My trade value was $122.50. So that is more what I'm used to getting from Crossroads in trade value. And the cash was $73.50. I've never taken cash from them. I always take the trade. The first piece they purchased was this PacSun fuzzy jacket, and this was new with tags. I will say this store, how do I think, the pricing was a little different than what I'm used to. It did seem like they priced some things differently than the stores I normally go to do price. So they priced this at $16.50, and I do think, I mean, the thing is, like, I think they use a computer system to price, so I don't know why it would be different. Maybe it's things just sell differently in better stores in Chicago. So they priced this at $16.50, giving me $8.25. That came from the bins. I did think I would get a little bit more for that piece, but that's okay. I don't like selling PacSun. The next piece they purchased, I picked up from the bins, knowing they would take this piece. It's the limited Y2K open knit little ballet core sweater piece. And they do check fabric content. So this piece was mohair, and they did note that. So if you're bringing Crossroads or Buffalo, I don't know so much about Buffalo Exchange, but Crossroads, like cashmere, wool, mohair, those higher end fabrics, they will often note it, and that will increase the price of the piece you're bringing them. So they priced it at $24, which I was super happy with because that gave me $12, and this was like probably less than an ounce. This piece weighed nothing, so that was just like pure profit, really. Then they brought in another item of mine that I could not get to sell. I've had this pair of Everlane leggings since last summer 2023. I purchased 80 pairs of Everlane bottoms, and I got so many leggings, and the leggings just don't sell well. Like every time I go, I kind of throw in one pair of the leggings to kind of get rid of them and not flush their system. I don't want to bring them in like 5 pair of Everlane leggings. And so they brought in these Everlane leggings, pricing them at $24, which gives me $12. So I did actually profit on these because I paid $8.50 a pair. After the last Everlane bottoms box I got from Help See Source, I kind of swore them off because it was really bad. I have like 12 pairs of new with tag teeny tiny size skinny jeans, like size 23. I've not sold one single pair, and they were like $9 a pair, so that was disappointing. Then they purchased an Armani Exchange floral mesh embossed t-shirt. This shirt was passed on by the Evanston location. The other items I have mentioned so far were all new items that I put in the bag to replenish my bags. They priced this shirt at $16.50, giving me $8.25. This was a bins item. Again, another very lightweight bins item. They also purchased this Hot Topic skirt from me. This was also passed on by the Evanston location. They priced it at $15, giving me $7.50. This was another bins piece. I will list some Hot Topic pieces, but usually more like plus size dresses because Hot Topic just doesn't have a high retail value. But I've noticed Crossroads, they do like that kind of goth punk style, so I will take them those pieces. But again, they don't price it very high, as you've seen, $15. Then I was super glad they purchased this from me. Evanston also passed on this. It was a Lulu's pink fuzzy sweater dress, and they brought this in under their core brands category. But I will say they pass on a lot of Lulus, so I don't really pick up Lulus to bring them because I don't usually buy it. I had actually purchased this piece maybe like in the spring last year to take to them, and they didn't want it at the tail end of spring, which makes sense because they only buy in season, and it was warming up. So I brought it to them hoping they would want it, because I've had this all summer long just in my buy sell trade store or closet, which is very full right now. I could totally take another trip soon. Anyway, they brought this in and they priced it at $22.50, which I am very happy with. This came from the bins. I got $11.25 for this piece. This piece was a new item I had put in the bag and they purchased it. It was a men's Everlane brown t-shirt. Carrie gave this to me. My friend Carrie, who I go to the bins with sometimes, she gave this to me at the bins. And I figured it wasn't really worth reselling. Like, if they didn't buy it from me, I would have listed it and probably made like a $5 profit. But they bought it from me and priced it at $15, giving me $7.50 in trade credit. Then this item was actually passed on by Evanston, which surprised me. It was a Madewell floral embroidered blouse. I'm surprised Evanston passed on it because it was very fall and very cute. I don't know, I thought they would buy it, but Lincoln Park bought it and they priced it at $18.50, giving me $9.25. I do feel like maybe they're starting to be more selective with Madewell, because I've noticed they've passed on a few of my Madewell pieces now. 2 pieces I brought them, all the stores, they both passed on 2 other Madewell pieces that were both fall. One was a faux wrap sweater and the other one was a plaid button-up shirt. So they did pass on those Madewell, but they did buy some Madewell from me. Okay, this piece was another stale listing that I've had listed for like over 2 years that I just could not get to sell. They brought this in under their core brands category. It is an Elizabeth and James chunky sweater. Maybe, I don't think it's made anymore. It was Ashley and Mary Kate's first fashion line, I want to say, before the row, and it was expensive, but then Kohl's bought it, and so I do believe this was actually a Kohl's piece, unfortunately, and I could not get it to sell. They purchased it and priced it at $24, so I got $12, and I think I had a little under $7 into this piece from Goodwill, so I did profit on this piece. Another piece they brought in under their core brands category, this was an item I had purchased for myself to sell and then decided not to because I felt like maybe it was like slightly shrunk, like it was a large. It fit me and I generally wear a medium. And then I realized while I was going to list it, I don't think I could find stock photos that I liked, and no, I couldn't find stock photos because I modeled it and I just didn't like the sweater. So for all those reasons, I was like, let me see if Buy Sell Trade wants to buy this. $360, and $360 is like $360 cashmere or $360 sweater, or some of their tags. So it was a $360 sweater piece, I believe. Dark gray V-neck Murano wool sweater. So again, they checked the fabric content. It was Murano wool. They priced it at $22.50, giving me $11.25. Again, this is, oh wait, I paid like $3 and some change for this piece. So again, profiting on that. Then the last 2 pieces are dresses that were actually both passed on by Evanston. The first one is this Urban Outfitters red long sleeve dress. This was new without tags. It still had like the hang button attached to it. And they don't buy a whole lot of dresses in the fall winter, which makes sense because people are wearing less dresses, but I really like selling dresses, so it's unfortunate when I have a smaller selection to shop in. I brought them this dress because it did seem like it'd be a good holiday dress. It had that going for it and long sleeve, so it was fall. They priced it at $22.50, giving me $11.25, and that came from the bins. And then the last piece Evanston purchased, or no, sorry, Lincoln Park. This was the Lincoln Park location. The last piece they purchased was this kittenish gold mesh maxi, like I almost want to say swim cover-up dress. And it was new with tags. This came from the bins, and because it was mesh, again, it probably only weighed a few ounces. They actually priced this at $24, which gave me $12. Very happy with that. I'm a little surprised they purchased this. I just kind of threw it in there as a maybe they'll buy it, but it's definitely a more summery piece, which I was not surprised. Evanston passed on it for that reason. I guess since it had a glitter to it, it could be like a New Year's piece. It could be a layering piece for fall, but I'm glad they bought it from me. So again, that is everything Lincoln Park purchased from me for a trade value of $122.50. And I spent a lot of that, but I didn't spend all of it. I probably could have found a few more pieces to purchase, but my sister was ready to head out and I was kind of done like checking comps and everything. So I was like, I will save it for the next time. So I have a little bit of a balance built up, right? But then my sister and I, we got lunch at a hot pot. That was excellent. Well, I loved it. She was not as crazy about it as me. Then we went to a thrift store in Chicago, which again will be a separate haul. And then we were a mile down the street from the Wicker Park Crossroads. So we're like, we'll stop in there. And it was crazy busy. That is probably the smallest store of the three. I personally like that the best. It's where I've been going to the longest and I'm familiar with what they purchase, but it was crazy busy in there and it's just such a tiny store. It was like 5 o'clock on a Saturday. I was like, oh my God, this is not the time to go. So they actually only purchased one item from me, which surprised me. But again, I'm feeling like maybe if they just recently went through some sort of purchasing training, you know, they're all fresh in their minds of being selective. That's just a theory. I don't know that for sure. They purchased a pair of Kappa joggers from me. I purchased these at a Goodwill earlier in the week, knowing that this location would buy these. They just really like Kappa for some reason, and so anytime I find Kappa, I buy it with the intention to take to them. I got $12 trade credit from them, meaning they priced them at $24, and I was bummed they only took one item, but I did find a few items while we were in the store, and again spent all my trade credit. So I have back to zero balance on my trade. Unfortunately, I like to have a few $100s on there, but that just means I have to go sell more clothes. And actually some of the items that all of the stores passed on and I feel like are in season, I might run up to Plato's Closet this week and see if they want them, just to get them out of my house, because if all three stores passed on them, I'm like, and a few of the items have been passed on a couple times, so I'm just gonna try and get those out of my house. Let's move into the haul portion of this video. It's a pretty cloudy day, so unfortunately this is like the background with the best lighting, even though it's not the most aesthetic. I'm sorry about that, but let's film the haul. Okay, so I know I showed you guys a lot of these pieces in the thrift with me, but I'll go into more detail now. So since I did have to spend I spent like $50 cash on these items, and then I had a little bit invested to the items I took them. My cost of goods was actually like a little over $16 per piece, but I definitely still saved money by selling them clothes. Okay, so this first piece is a Free People Movement piece. This is the tag, and it is a size large. I don't know why it's crossed out. I mean, to me that would mean it's like a outlet type piece to prevent returns, but I'm unsure. They have this priced at $27.80, and Crossroads has a 3% surcharge. So technically this is $27, but they started including the 3% in there so you can see the full total. This, I forgot the name of it, but I checked comps on Poshmark and they're listed high, and I think there's none listed in size large, and a sold, I think in size large was like $100. That one might have been new tags though, but this is definitely a good Free People Movement piece, oversized sweater dress, a BOLO piece. When I come across Free People Movement that seems like it might be more substantial, I do look up exact comps on the piece because some of them do hold their value and are sought after. So that was a good piece to come across. Then I found two Cezanne pieces. The only time I have found Cezanne is at Buy Sell Trade. Here is the tag. This is definitely a BOLO brand, and actually this morning I was on Poshmark and the new in listings, it caught my attention. There's a Cezanne piece and I was like, oh, that's a cute shirt, I'm gonna like it. It wasn't even in my size, but I'm like, let me like it and see if I can find one in my size later. It was just like a little knit shirt. It gave Reformation vibes almost, and I got a sold notification for that like 2 hours later. It was like, this item's sold. Here's some other ones you might like. So Cezanne, good brand to know. They had this priced at $38.63. I did find the exact dress. When I'm paying almost $40, even if it's in trade credit, I do like to find the exact piece. And actually this feels cheap to me. Like, it feels like Shein fabric to me. And I think it's cotton, but I checked the interior tag and compared it to other ones listed on Poshmark to make sure it wasn't fake, because it just feels cheap, fake crappy fabric to me, which is sad to say. This has a very low back. I believe it's called the Lucy dress, and I think I can get around $100 for it. Now, it's definitely more spring, summer, because it's a lightweight fabric, but since it's a maxi and a dark floral, I feel like it might do well in fall. I also found this Cezanne sweater, which they had priced at $27.81. Again, I paid a little over $16 cash for it. Here is the tag again. Now this one, I mean, it looks similar to the other one, but it does not say Cezanne in big font. I feel like if you're thrifting, you may be able to find this without it being priced up, but I have never come across it thrifting. This, I believe, is a wool sweater. It does not say on here that it's wool, but I think when I checked it is wool. So it's black and it has this lace detail. I think the lace is sheer, is it? Yeah, lace is sheer. And I don't think I found the name of it, but I did find an exact one sold on Poshmark for over $100. I don't know if this one will go for over 100, but we are in the right season, and I'd be happy if I could get at least 80 for it. Now, it does have some pilling to the fabric, but for a sweater that could potentially sell $80 to $100, I'm willing to spend the 10-minute sweater shaving it. And I mean, I sweater shave stuff that's gonna sell for $20, so no big deal to me. And the last piece I found at this Evanston location, this is a Sublime sweatshirt from the brand Daydreamer. Daydreamer is sometimes sold at Free People. This piece is still full retail, I think of $135 on their website. And I checked Poshmark and I did not see any listed or sold. So I kind of took a risk on this piece since it's still full price on their sweatshirt. I know certain band tees, hoodies, sweatshirts from Daydreamer can do really well. This is in excellent condition. I actually really like the graphics, so I mean, I'm not a Sublime fan, but if worse comes to worse and it never sells or I have to sell it for a loss, I will just keep it. I don't think that will happen though. They had this priced at $25.75, which honestly, I would probably pay full price for that if I knew it was going to sell for over 80. Which is what I'm assuming on this, that it will sell for about $80. What was I gonna say? Actually, obviously I'm not gonna keep an $80 sweatshirt for myself from a band that I don't even listen to, but I do like it. Like, this looks like a Dalmatian to me. So that is everything from Evanston. And so again, I will say the store seemed a little bit empty, not many dresses, which I like to go through. And on top of that, they had like almost no discounted tags, which was surprising to me. I did see a lot more half off tags at Lincoln Park. So we are now going to get into the 3 items I picked up from Lincoln Park. You guys saw this in the vlog. I found this 9-bang velour hoodie sweatshirt crew neck on their designer rack. And here is the logo if you're unfamiliar. I have thrifted a pair of 9-bang jeans before, so it's possible to thrift it. Anything's possible to thrift, but the other pieces I found, I think all came from Buy Sell Trade. If there's more than 2, I can't remember. This is the tag, and this actually says like sport on it. They had this priced at $43.78, and this actually came in on week 40, so this has been there a couple weeks. I checked comps and I think I can get 80 to 100 for this piece. Now I actually did these things separate from this, so I think all of these things cost me about $12.50 per piece cash, because again, I did have to spend some cash and then account for the cost of goods that they purchased from me. Then I found this piece, which is a very fun Maeve Anthropologie dress. It is cat print. Look at that, a cat print chiffon dress. Now this was actually a half off item. They had it priced at $33.48. It came in on week 36, so it has been there a while. And it is an extra small. Here is the Maeve Anthropologie tag. It is a new one because it says Anthropologie. I mean, they've been doing that a few years now. And then I found it was new tags. I noticed this in store because I was kind of like, this is priced higher than normal Anthropologie. And I realized it is new tags. So this was actually originally $168. On Poshmark, There are no pink ones listed. There are only the black colorway of this listed, and there are some sold for around $100. So I'm hoping I can get around $100 for this dress. I'm definitely not willing to pay up for most Anthropologie pieces, but on special, especially at novelty print pieces, I do check comps, and this one seemed like it was worth the risk, educated risk. Now this piece I don't think you guys saw because it was on the designer rack and I looked at it while we were waiting in the checkout line. Going to Crossroads on a Saturday is very busy. Both stores we went to were super busy. We waited in line for a long time at both stores. So the reason I looked at it was they had it originally priced at $56. Now, one thing about Crossroads is they don't miss a lot of brands. Like, I've never heard of this brand before. Mia Ami, like my friend, maybe? Is that what that means in Italian or French? Maybe Italian, Mia Ami. Again, they don't miss many brands, like obscure brands, so they price them high. So that's often how I learn new brands, is they have these pieces that I've never heard of priced very high, and I'm like, oh, I should look that up. So this one was priced high, but it was half off, so a little under $30. It is this wool bright orange, kind of open knit sweater, and it also came in on week 36. Here is the interior tag. It says Berlin on it, and it is a mohair polyamide wool blend. Now on Poshmark, I did not see this exact sweater, but a lot of people had them listed close to 100, if not over 100, and sold comps were similar, close to 100 or over 100. Now, I did not look up this exact piece because I felt it was unnecessary. It was not an oversaturated piece on Poshmark because I saw no bright orange sweaters. We're in sweater season. Honestly, this is a good transition to spring too because of the color. So I decided to risk it. Like, I feel like this is kind of a risky piece. Never having sold this brand, and also this color is just very special. Again, here is the tag, Mia Ami. So I paid a little over $12 for these 3 pieces, and then we'll get into the 2 pieces I picked up from the Wicker Park Crossroads in Chicago, which I also paid a little over $12 per piece. This is gonna sound funny. I didn't really want to pick up this piece. I'm not excited to list this piece, but I've sold it before and it sold very quickly for like $70. So I picked it up again. It is a Free People We the Free denim jumpsuit. They had it priced at $28.84, and it is a denim flare leg zip front jumpsuit. Now the one I sold it in was a lighter wash, but I did check comps and this is still selling for like $70 to $100. Mine sold anywhere from like a day to a week. I can't really remember. I just remember it was a very quick sale. I did decide to pick this one up again, even though I'm not excited to list it. I don't know. It's just like a little bit boring to me. I've already sold it and I like to sell new things, but like I can't leave a solid profit. Like this is one of the items I feel the most confident about in this entire haul. So I'm not gonna pass it up even if I'm not excited to list it. And then the last item of this buy sell trade store haul, it is from the brand New Works. I've only found this brand at Buy Sell Trade. I find it often at the Buy Sell Trade stores in Chicago. I don't know, I guess just a popular brand people are wearing in Chicago. It's very unique, which does not surprise me for the crowd that shops at Buy Sell Trade stores. It is also new with tags. They have this priced at $28.84, which is lower than they normally price this brand new with tags. So I was happy to buy it. It is a boob, can I say that on YouTube? Banana. It is a nude, let's say nude banana print dress. Boob bananas. Midi dress. I checked comps just really quickly. I figured this would be a good piece. I didn't check the exact style of the dress, but in this print there was nothing listed under $60, and I think the ones that were about $60 were used. This is new, and so I think I should be able to get $70 to $100 for this boob banana print dress. So again, here's the New Works tag. Definitely worth giving a look up if you ever come across it. Even their t-shirts, because they have these funky prints and they're limited release and people like to get the print they want. So guys, that was the whole haul. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and seeing what I picked up. I think you'll probably see this before I get any of these listed, so I don't think there'll be any sold comps in the video. Alrighty guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for sticking around. I know it was a long vlog, and if you do want to see the Chicago thrift haul, what I found, keep your eyes peeled because that video will go up either next or soon. Alrighty guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this whole vlog. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate you. Let me know if you have any feedback for this style video, if you like it to be shorter, or if you like to see more shop with me content in the stores. I hope you learned some new BOLO brands, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Goodbye.